Hi, everyone. Welcome back into My Chamber TV. I'm your host, Barbara Marville Kelly. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm very excited today because we are back by popular demand at Amici's Catering. And my very first guest happens to be, I was going to say Mike Amici, but it's not.
A lot of people call me Mike Amici.
But it's Michael Lamondo.
Lamondo,
You wouldn't be
right.
Italian, would you?
Well, actually, yeah, I'm half Italian, half Irish. And yeah, grew up in New York, so... a big part of my family was like, big family gatherings with like music and mandolins and accordions and lots of food and entertainment. And so that's kind of how I got into the business.
It got in your blood.
Yeah, I saw everybody having a great time at our family events and stuff. So I thought like, man, maybe this is the career for me. So I got a job working as a dishwasher. In 10th grade, I was living close to the Culinary Institute of America. And little by little became like, dishwasher, sous chef, head chef, and then I said, man, I got to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. So I came down to school to go to Florida State for hotel restaurant management, and 4 years, after when I graduated, I started a meat market and deli up in Palm Harbor, and did a lot of catering out the back door. So after like 14 years, I just kind of phased out the retail and just focused on the catering.
Just the catering. And the last time we were here was it was maybe about a year ago when we had some of our challenges, right, around the world.
Yeah.
But you managed to push through, you managed to thrive and survive, so yay for you.
I know, we were so blessed to have such amazing community support because we pivoted, we started, everything from our calendar just evaporated, so we started doing like prepared meals, like 4 for $35, and that just kept the kitchen going and kept my staff working and made me feel like I still had a business, and and now it's just, gangbusters, because I think it's the year of the wedding, they say, 2022, because everybody's making up for all the events that they didn't have,
sure.
So like a couple weekends ago, we had 14 weddings.
Did you?
It was crazy. Yeah, we had like 2 on Friday, 5 on Saturday, 5 on Sunday, 1 on Monday, 1 on Tuesday. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, they're even getting married, during the week.
I've heard that.
Yeah, because the weekends are booked. So
I love to hear that. I love to hear the success. So let's talk about what you offer on your menu. I know, but I want you to tell our audience because they may not have been with us the last time, and you can walk in here and you just know you're at the right place. If you want some really good food, you can just smell it oozing through the air.
Yeah, they're busy in the back cooking all the time, But yeah, I mean, we do like full service events, with the chine and the linens and the staff that goes out. I got captains that go out to each event with their servers and the bartenders and the chefs and stuff. And so we do like buffets, we do sit down dinners, we do cocktail parties, action stations, pasta station, fajita station, all that sort of thing. So we do like fully staffed events, and we're one of the preferred caterers at over probably 100 different venues in the area, in the Tampa Bay area. Then we also do like a lot of corporate, deliveries and private home deliveries for birthday parties and anniversaries and all that sort of thing. And then we also, have a large group of people that like pick up food from time to time. They'll order and they'll say, I want to pick up 4 o'clock hot on a Saturday or whatever. So we do
you
a lot
do
of that
even
as
the
well.
small caterings?
We do, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, like, our deliveries, from 20 people up pretty much, I would say. And, our staffed events, probably like 30 people and up for the most part.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
And when it comes to having family gatherings, one of the biggest things is the preparation. I mean, I start weeks ahead of time.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
It's a lot more work than meets the eye. That's for sure.
It is. And then by the time your event comes around, you're totally
exhausted.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're exhausted.
You get it.
You can't be a guest at your own party. You're working,
It's so true.
So we like to take that burden off of people and let them enjoy, and be a guest at their own party.
Yeah, exactly. What's some of your favorites besides everything I know?
Well, I think people really like when there's an action station and they engage with the chef behind the frying pan.
Tell us about that in case there's anybody out there that doesn't know how to participate in that. This is wild. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so the guest comes up through the line and the chef's there, greets them, and they have a choice of marinara, Alfredo, pesto, different toppings like shrimp, grilled chicken, Italian sausage.
And it's made right there.
Made right there.
Whatever you want.
Right. The combination
like right
is put in a saute pan, and they do the show and all that stuff. So I think that's really people really love that. Where the chef engages with the guests.
Exactly. That's fun. You don't even have to drive anywhere just to have your guests come in, and oh boy, I can think of some really awesome parties and graduation.
Yeah.
You know?
And the nice thing about it is too, like if you're vegetarian, you just get some vegetables with your pasta.
Yeah, there you go.
So it kind of like one size fits all. It kind of helps everybody out.
I think so too.
Makes sense.
When you stop to think about doing catering, and you're wondering, oh, that's probably going to be way too expensive. Check out the cost of food in today's times.
I know.
And I believe me,
crazy.
even if I would pay a little more to have you come and cater for my family, it would be so well worth it, because you get a chance to spend time with your guests. You're not in the kitchens, because when you're cooking right up until you're serving.
Oh, I know.
So you
It's
guys bring it all.
exhausting.
There's
Yeah, we do.
nothing that we need. All
We
I have
come
to do is
in.
open the door.
That's
and you
it.
take over?
That's it. For the most part, we get there like 3 hours before the event starts.
course.
To get the guest table set up if there are some, and get the buffets all set up beautifully, because it's all about not only great food quality but presentation and
Yes.
of course service. So we get there and get everything set up and take care of all the guests while the event is going on. Then we break everything down, clean it up, put it in our truck, and we're off.
You've got such a fantastic personality. Anytime I've ever seen you, you're always happy, happy, happy. It has to do with the way you're serving the public and the way you're serving the guests, and just
and I think
loving what you do.
Absolutely. Everybody that works here is super, super passionate about what we do, and we want to just create like amazing events for everybody, and give them the wow factor and kind of under-deliver, over-deliver but under-promise.
Yeah. Yeah.
And make them, exceed their expectations and stuff. And I surround myself with just an amazing and talented staff, in the hospitality industry, and everybody's got great attitudes and really want to go above and beyond, from the chefs in the kitchen to the captains and servers that go out and do the events, from the amazing sales team that answers the phone, from the get-go.
How many people do you have on staff about?
I've got probably like around 15, 16 full-timers, and then probably a staff of about 75 that go out and do the events.
Yeah, that's a nice crew, and that gives you that comfort zone to know. And attitude is everything, especially
Absolutely.
when you're preparing foods. And here's your website too, by the way. If you want to go ahead and check out, go to Amici's Catered Cuisine, and it is cuisine. If you're looking for upscale, really wonderful meals, you're going to be able to do this, and at an affordable price tag too. So what do? Have people come in or just call and get prices on how many people, or how do you do that?
Yeah, like they either email or they give the office a call, and then the sales girls will take all the information, when's their event, what kind of occasion are they celebrating, what's their vision, what's their spending plan,
Okay.
and it just goes on from there. Then it's back and forth, proposal, maybe a tasting, the booking, the deposit, and then we make their dreams come true.
I love it.
Yeah.
I want to do this.
Yeah,
I
it is
want to do this.
exciting.
My birthday's coming up. Maybe we'll do it for my own birthday.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
Yeah.
you make it so fun, and that's the thing, is engaging with all the fun, the entertainment, and not have to lift a finger.
I know.
Now I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Is any party too large? How high can you go? I'm curious.
Yeah, we've done sit-down dinners for like 700 people, and that's probably like as many as we want,
Okay,
But
all right.
And we've done parties for 1,200 people, a while back.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, for one party.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
is.
lot of
So
people.
you can do small parties and up to the large ones as well. So
Right,
you've got
right.
everybody. So for those larger parties, I'm thinking corporate America, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure businesses are ready to get back in and start doing some
Right.
entertaining and celebration of different ranks and all of that.
Yeah,
that
we're
people
starting
are
to see a lot of
advancing.
that
Are
come
you?
back.
I thought so.
Finally,
I thought
yeah,
so.
because they're back in the work, back in their offices and stuff like that.
I know.
So thank goodness for that,
Thank goodness for sure.
And we do everything here, like in our facility in Oldsmar, which is a 10,000 square foot facility. And we've got like the sales office, the tasting room, the kitchen, the dishwashing area, and then a warehouse. So
Pretty
we're-
well-oiled machine. I
We're
would
definitely
say.
set up for business.
You
No doubt
are.
about it.
And you didn't have to shut down either. at all.
I
That was a
know.
blessing. A
That
lot of
was.
businesses really did not have to, because, we do all these chamber shows. You'd be amazed at people that are starting business or that have kept their present business a couple of years ago still going. And it's really being creative and innovative. Wouldn't you say, Mike?
It is. I mean, you have to figure it out, somehow,
Yeah.
some way,
I know.
I definitely couldn't just sit home and keep my fingers crossed. So
That's
you
for
got to
sure.
just keep working and trying and
Exactly.
carrying on.
Well, it all shows. It really does with the
Thanks,
Amicis.
Barb.
And one of these days, my husband and I are going to get married again.
Wow, beautiful.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
give us a call or stop by.
Absolutely.
Or give us an email.
It won't be for a couple of years, but I know you'll still be here.
Oh, yeah,
I want to
yeah.
thank you so much, and thank you for hosting our my Chamber TV today, because we have our
pleasure.
other guests, and it's
Our
great.
pleasure,
So
Barb.
stick around. We'll be right back. Check out Amici's. Call Mike and get an interview with him and find out what he can do for you, because he can do it all. I am certain of that. We'll be right back after this.
Thank
Hi, everyone. Welcome back into My Chamber TV. We're the heartbeat of the Tampa Bay community. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly, your host, and our guest, who I can't wait. I'm going to be quiet and let my guest talk most here. It's Michele Mathews, and I love it because this is your company,
Yes.
Mathews HR and Safety Consulting Services. You have to hear what she has to say. This is her own business, and it's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Unfortunately, we are living in the times where we need somebody like you. If you're in business, if you're working for a business, and they're all opening up once again, I'm going to turn the show over to you and tell us why you're doing this, because you grew up with learning about safety and everything. Did you say before the segment that you had a fluke accident?
Yeah, an absolute fluke accident. I was in after-school daycare, and I was running backwards in a relay race and fell and hit both sciatica nerves at the exact same time, which is like 1 in a million from what I was told. And so, I got airlifted to the hospital. We did all that stuff. Luckily, I was able to walk out of the hospital several hours later. The joke is my dad smoked a whole carton of cigarettes in the time that I was in the hospital, because he didn't think I was ever going to walk again. So then that is one thing that's kind of driven. We have fluke accidents every day, car accidents at work, and then my dad had a construction firm, and so I grew up in there. He made me start at the bottom. I started cleaning toilets in a construction site.
Good for you, good
Yeah.
for him, right?
Yeah, and then I kind of worked my way up and learned all the different aspects. The human element has always been a real important part for me, so I started learning the safety side, started becoming a trainer, learning how to really save people on the electrical side, the plumbing side. And then my dad also said, I need someone I can trust, so I need you to learn the HR side. So that's why I worked for him for 12 years. And I just had a plethora of experience on commercial sides, industrial side, a little residential. But it wasn't until I saw one of our employees get electrocuted when he was doing a remodel, and he fell 16 feet off a ladder. And we flew his family in from Texas. We did what we call the right thing. I am happy to say he is still with us. He is actually an electrician. We no longer have that company, but I still check in with him and his family. And that, to me, is the heart of why I do what I do. I want to see people be safe at work. It could have been avoided if the other contractor knew about Lockout Tag Out, which all companies are required to provide safety training for their staff.
And what is Lockout Tag Out?
Yeah, so Lockout Tag Out is when you are dealing with electrical, you are supposed to lock the generation from going with a master lock and a tag, so that no one will come and just flip it on, and somebody who's actually working on it will get injured, because it will turn into hot electricity flowing through.
Wow. Wow, I'm still stuck on some of the things you just said before this, and this I know it's scary stuff, but wouldn't you rather be prepared if you're a business owner and know that when your employees are coming into work that they are safe? And I just think you're just doing God's work, I think.
Oh, thanks.
This is wonderful. So what do you what can you tell business owners that are out there today on our chamber show? As far as maybe a couple little tips, of course, you want them to call you, do a consultation.
Right.
You do kind of like a walkthrough through their business, is that it?
Yeah, so depending on what they're calling for, if they're looking for someone to help on the HR side or the safety side, we'll do a consultation. Sometimes it requires me to go out and see if it is something that we could work with, because I do work with construction, warehouse, manufacturing, senior living, assisted livings, and other healthcare, because I have 10 years experience in that as well. And then I've actually picked up some veterinary care and schools based on COVID happening, and I've done a lot of safety training for them. Because the interesting part is, a lot of us don't think about, is our business in a transient area? Do we have narcotics? Do we have other things that people who unfortunately are addicted to drugs are seeking? And so we need to make sure our compound is safe, that our staff is safe. So coming out and doing a risk assessment if needed, helping you reduce your workers' comp risk, putting some policies and procedures in place. One of my clients is a manufacturing and a shop, and they had employees who deal with paints, they deal with other really caustic chemicals, and the employees were refusing to wear their personal protective equipment because the company bought a one-size-fits-all section with ear protection and gloves, and the employees said, hey, these aren't comfortable. We're sweating, and we're sweating inside our ears. Water's getting in our ears. We can't hear what's going on. So just looking at their PPEs, I was able to help them decide, hey, let's get a little bit thinner glove. Let's make sure it's cut resistant with some Kevlar in it, and it's able to help them with their dexterity. And then also get ear protection that's going to fit multiple people and the atmosphere that we're in. Sometimes companies don't know what they don't know, and a lot of the times HR people call me because they said, hey, I have a lot of experience in HR, but I don't know what to do when it comes with this. Even your first aid kit expires, and so if you're in healthcare, the Agency for Healthcare Administration can tag you for that for a resident rights violation. If you're in regular construction, if you don't have your employees wearing the proper PPEs at all times, if you don't have the proper fall protection on. That's one thing. I watched somebody put on fall protection that wasn't going to save them, and I feel the passion to kind of train people and explain to them why. And so I explained to him that I want him to go home to his family.
Sure.
And it's not just about him getting hurt, it's what happens to the whole family. And so I showed him how to actually inspect his fall protection. And again, some companies don't know that they need that. They have to have a written plan if they have 11 or more employees. And sometimes some of my clients call me because they think a risk assessment first, and then it turns into other options. So they can bring us in if they need just for a project or if they want ongoing service.
Wow, we could do a whole hour show with you, really. So we were just talking before this segment today about OSHA and the requirements that they're making with businesses, and they put this law into effect in 1971, and that was right after I asked you about, believe me, I don't like to talk about this, but it's the reality of today, and especially with the high percentage of mental health with active shooters going into businesses, right?
Yeah, so OSHA does have a lot of rules and regulations that employers have to follow. I will tell you, in multiple states, Florida is not one of them yet that requires all employers do active shooter training, but they do emergency preparedness training, and that is a requirement. And so coming in and seeing what is the exit routes, training your staff on what to do. Do you have healthcare where you have to take care of patients as well? Do you have tools that you have to get? Do you have narcotics? And kind of helping set up those barriers. And for example, do you have a glass door? Is it bulletproof? Is it a situation where you could push a button and it will lock so they can't come in if you see them starting to walk in? Do your staff know what to do in those situations? And so we'll help with that. We'll help you build your plan. We'll review your plan. We'll help train on it if need be. My whole passion about this is to do the right thing and keep your employees safe and your business thriving, right? And so those parts where you don't know about safety or HR, I want to be your trusted advisor. And so the team I've brought on, we're making sure that they either know the HR side and we'll train them on safety, or they know the safety side and we'll train them on HR, just because we want to give a fully comprehensive.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
That
and be
makes a
that
lot of
strategic
sense.
business partner.
Well, you know, I raised one Boy Scout, and you know what their motto is? Be prepared. And
Yes.
I live to that now, even as a mom and a grandmom and a great grandmom. So I think what you're doing here is just, it's absolutely incredible. And you know, it's funny, it's not like just go get your license and open a business.
Right.
It's all these other things that we need to do to be safe, because you figure one unnecessary accident can play such havoc on the business business owners' families, and the employees.
Right, right.
I mean, look what's happened in the last couple of years just with this business that has gone on with the pandemic and all.
Absolutely.
So we're fortunate that we're back opening up again and back into business. Many businesses have thrived and survived, and I bet you were one of them too.
I actually got called from Texas to shoot safety videos for all industries, including schools, and bringing the staff back safely. You know, one of the easiest things is, what's the contact time on your disinfectant? So the wipes are anywhere from 1 minute to 5 minutes, and the spray, sometimes you have to leave it on there for 10 minutes. How many of you think about that when you're cleaning down your desk? Leave it wet for 10 minutes.
That's incredible information right there.
Yep. So little things like that. My friends joke that I'm a little crazy, but I really enjoy it. So little things like that, I'm here to help. And I also do for the community, especially the Oldsmar area, CPR training as well, especially because we're around pools and the beach and we have little kids and you need to know what to do.
Wow, you're saving lives just by what you do. And you've been doing this for how long?
I've been doing this for over 24 years.
Over 24 years. You think she might have a clue on how to help you keep your business safe, secure, and keep moving and grooving and thriving and surviving and all the things that we want to do today now that things are really opened up nicely. And I can't thank you enough for being a guest on the show today, giving a few tips here and there. So if you want to take a look at what Michele has here, just feel free to get a hold of her. This is her website, her telephone number, her email, everything is right there. It only takes one unnecessary accident to make a major difference in anyone's lives. I thank you so much.
Thank you for having me today. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure. We'll be right back. Hi, everyone. Welcome back into My Chamber TV. We are the heartbeat of the Tampa Bay community. I'm your host, Barbara Marville Kelly. We're featuring the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce, and we have a wonderful guest with us. And I tell you, I just want to turn this whole show over to you because, Jeannette, you are doing God's work. I know this. You are successful at it. You've had your own experience with being an advocate for human rights and human trafficking right here in this area and abroad. So I'm going to let you tell why and how you got involved with this. You're very, very passionate about it. I can see that right down to your soul. And thank you for all that you're doing and rescuing. So let's go ahead and get started wherever you want to start.
So first of all, thank you. Thank you so much for having me and for giving me the opportunity to let people know what is going on in our backyard. So I didn't stumble into this. I always had a passion to do this since I was very young because I was raped when I was 6 years old. Between the ages of 6 to 9, I was raped by a family member. And fast forward, I was for 14 years a victim of domestic violence, where for 14 years, 365 days, throughout those 14 years, I slept with a gun on my pillow. And so so because of that, I'm writing a book that's called Behind the Smile, because I had to, I went to school and I had these great positions in politics. And so I had to put this mask on. And so I was always smiling, but behind the smile, nobody knew what was going on. And so I know that there were so many of me out there, and still are. So when COVID hit, after 22 years in politics in Washington, D.C., I decided to start doing this for real, right? For real. So I said, where do I start? And I said, well, there has to be some organizations that do human rights here. And I found just a few, but they weren't in the community. So I started getting lost on purpose, and I stumbled into Plant City, then Waimama, then Ruskin. And when I saw the migrant workers, just by looking at those fields, I saw the level of human violations, of human rights violations they had. So I saw the fear in them, and why they are being violated. And it's because they come here under false pretext, and then their documents are taken, and so they become slaves. So that's what modern slavery is part of it is about. And so when I started befriending them and through the churches that exist here, through ministry, I started gaining their confidence, and I started explaining to them that even though they come from another country, they have the same exact rights that we have, that I have, that you have, that we all have, because they're human rights. Human rights are not civil rights. So I started explaining this to them. And the more that I started working with them, the more I worked with them, the more I saw human trafficking there. So the first victim of human trafficking that we rescued was 3 years old. And they had him working on the fields 9 hours a day, 6 days a week. So we were able to remove him. And from there, I just fell in love with what I'm doing. So I started doing my research. I started getting in touch with Homeland Security, the Blue Campaign, and the human trafficking task forces that exist in Hillsborough County and in the Tampa Bay area. And Florida is third in the nation. But as a city, so there's thousands of cities in the United States. As a city, Tampa is 12th. Tampa is 12th among thousands of cities in the nation. So I said, I have to do something. And so I got a team together, a team of 4. Now we have a 5th, who is a male victim of domestic violence. And so we said, where do we start? How do we do this? And so we started brainstorming. And so this has to be, I started following Chronister, the sheriff here. And they did a raid, and there was 143 people in that raid. But the raid wasn't about human trafficking; it was about labor trafficking. But amongst those 143, there was ministers, there were teachers, there were law enforcement officers. And what caught my curiosity is that there was an admiral of the Navy, pillar of his community from Town and Country, and they found 2,116 child pornography videos in his home. So what I need to voice out, and I'm not afraid, is that this doesn't discriminate. This is everywhere. This could be your neighbor. This could be the minister in your church or the pastor of your church. It could be anybody. And not only men, it's women too. So our campaign is called Florida 321, the number 3-2-1. So, and what it means is bringing Florida from being third to number 1 in zero tolerance. And the only way we can accomplish this is that everybody sees it, that people are not afraid, because the victims don't have a voice. And so when you see my website, it says the Voice for Human Rights, and it's because they don't have a voice. So we have to speak for them, because where do they go? The other part of it is that a lot of people come to our country because, and once they get here, they take them because they're going to be models or they're going to work. And once they get here, they take their papers away. So where do they go? Law enforcement, sometimes to protect them, removes them from the streets. But then the services that are provided here by other nonprofits and NGOs and county and agencies will only provide services to those that are either residents or U.S. citizens. But what about the rest?
They don't have their papers.
But they're victims.
So what happens?
Thank you. That's where we're going to come. That's where we need to come in, because they're victims. So what are we going to do? So what? We're not fixing the problem.
Right.
We're not
right.
fixing the problem. So a lot of them are victims, but by no fault of their own.
That's right.
So where do they go? They have to go back to the streets to fall back into their pimps to back for. Then what happens? Those that do that, they cry out for help. It's just that they don't know where to turn to because they don't have a piece of paper. And when they get held in a cell or incarcerated, they come out with a label: prostitution or trafficking. So even if they don't go back, they can't find a job. They can't find housing. What do
They're
they do? They're stuck. So that's where Miel y Canela Foundation comes in. We are crying out to everyone to join because it's just so, the problem is so huge and we deal with this on a daily basis. Our phones are, that number is available 24/7, 27 days a week. And there's so many people that call and they don't know what to do. So they come to us for support because they think that if they call law enforcement, they're automatically either going to get that label on their record or going to be deported. And that is not true.
Okay, so we have less than 3 minutes. I could
Yes.
spend all day with you here today, and we are going to get together.
Thank you.
You've actually been to the border,
Yes.
and I want to get this out here. In 10 months, you've rescued 95 individuals.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
And how long have you been doing this on the human trafficking side?
Here in Florida, 1 year.
1 year.
And 1 year.
So there's a
Yeah.
need for it.
Yeah.
What can we plea right through those camera lenses to our people that are watching the show today?
We need to come together as a community because it could be your child, it could be your sister, your mother, your neighbor, it could be somebody that you don't know. They don't have a voice. All of us collectively, we need to be their voice. We need your help. We need every penny, resources, your help, volunteer, because there's only 4 of us and I mean, it's too many people. So it's, our campaign, if you want to donate or collaborate in any way, you could go to our website. But the campaign started in February the 5th, but we're going out throughout the state. We're going to do a bike ride throughout the state, and we're going to culminate it in June in Tallahassee. We'll announce it because everybody needs to be heard because we are saving our community. We could do this, but we can't do it alone. We can't do it alone. We have to come together. It's not about one agency working by itself and us by ourselves. No, we have to come together. And we can end it. We can end it. If we put the pressure, passively, and this is not about religion, this is not about politics at all. No. It's about an epidemic that affects us all.
You are just such a delight. You're like an earth angel. You really are.
Thank you.
And it really does take a village. It takes a village.
Absolutely.
If you're looking to do anything in volunteering, if you had a family member or maybe even you have been in a scary situation, whether it be domestic violence, human rights, the trafficking, and what was the other thing about with the work rights?
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely, yeah.
Please get a hold of our guest. You
Thank
are
you.
just so
Thank you.
fabulous,
Thank
and
you.
I wish you continued success and many prayers for your safety
Thank you.
and the safety of your team. And I have a feeling it's definitely going to grow as a result of your work so far. In only 1 year time, 95 rescues from all age groups.
Oh, well, the youngest was 3, and the oldest was 22. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, and we have gotten as far as Colombia, Mexico, Peru, Guatemala, and Nicaragua. Yeah.
Thank
yeah.
you. You're a delight.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back into My Chamber TV. I'm your host, Barbara Marville Kelly. Thanks for joining us once again. We're featuring the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce. We always have great guests, and we also raise awareness in the community. So thanks for joining us. Today, I'm really honored to introduce Vince Albanese, right? Did I get that right?
got it perfect.
And Jonathan Field. Welcome from
Thank you.
Emerge 180. Now, we just had a brief little visit before the segment, and we're just getting started. We're just getting warmed up. So I'm going to try to not say too much, and I'm going to turn this over to the two of you because there's a lot happening in the neighborhood. There's a lot going on. So tell us, how did Emerge 180 emerge, if you will?
Okay, so a little bit about a not-for-profit effort that's very important to me, which is now called the Oldsmar Neighborhood Association. We're really blessed to live in a community with lots of people trying to help. There is a gap, though, between individuals on a mission and being able to get something done at a bigger scale. So we're modeling something here. It's presently under the Oldsmar Neighborhood Association banner, and really trying to get sustainability, resiliency, and growth built into what all these organizations, good people trying to get something together. So it's simply a matter of the work of an individual multiplied as a force multiplier, being able to get things done. So an example of that is why I'm happy to be sitting here in this facility with you and with the Chamber. So on the subject of sustainability, resiliency, and growth, an opportunity came around because of the pandemic's effect on small business. So there has been lots of good, well-intended government intervention available.
Of course.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's very difficult to get to, and there's a lot of fear about how to do it. Jonathan Field has been for decades running a company in Tampa called Emerge 180. I know Jonathan well. And Jonathan is kind of like, I'll embarrass him a little bit in saying he's kind of like the pride of Pinellas County, in the sense that he is a West Point appointee from Congressman Mike Bilirakis in this case. So service individual here. And Jonathan has been doing really creative work in helping thousands of businesses, actually since the 2008 crisis, but really got involved in helping. I introduced Jonathan to the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber picked up a new member, and we have been delivering literally millions of dollars in aid to small businesses through the Chamber's reach. And that has come primarily through economic recovery credits, ERC credits. So this is an example of doing something that's sustainable, helping these small businesses to become resilient, and then also allowing them to grow. So there's lots of good stories about this, and this is where Jonathan picks up.
Wow, that is exciting. And the timing is everything, right, Jonathan?
It sure is.
And
yes.
the timing is good for the two of you to be just pulling this out of your hat, your hat full of magic.
Well, first of all, I want to thank Vince for sufficiently embarrassing me. But secondly, no, Vince and I have known each other a long time, and it's been a pleasure working with him. But particularly the last couple of years, and all the pressure, particularly on small businesses, with the pandemic and then the economy, and I think Emerge 180 was in the right place at the right time. We have been for a very long time helping businesses that have been struggling financially turn things around. And we've also been handling tax credits much prior to the start of this pandemic. So when all of these federal programs came out, there was a lot of questions. We started fielding phone calls almost immediately. How does this work? What does this mean for my business? How do I get access to it? How do I work with the SBA? How do I work with my bank? How do I work with the federal government throughout all of these programs? So one of the things is that we took a significant pivot as an organization to step in and start helping businesses, not just here locally, but across the country, with their PPP loans, with the disaster loans, and particularly now with the Employee Retention Credit Program, which we've been working on for the last year. And I'll just say this to lead. Locally, what this means is north of $10 million has gone back into the Oldsmar area, specifically through the Employee Retention Credit Program that we have helped businesses with.
Just Oldsmar?
Just Oldsmar.
Say that again. How much?
Over $10 million. And we also have the privilege of sitting right here in Amici's Catering, and they're part of that program. And I spoke with Michael just before this in terms of like his process and what it means to him, to his business, to be able to put back over 150,000 into his catering organization for expansion, for growth, for hiring, to continue the economic recovery from the pandemic.
Oh, that is so fabulous.
It is. It is. So there's a lot of questions on this, and I
Sure.
can go into as much detail about the Employee Retention Credit Program as we have time for, but I will just say with this, if any business out there has not at least looked into this and they paid wages at any time in 2020 or 2021, they need to seriously look at this program, whether it's through us or their accountant or anyone. Certainly we've done thousands of these already. But this is real money that goes back into the business that the business does not have to pay back, and they have full discretion on how to use that. They can use it for expansion. They can use it for bonuses to their employees. They can use it to pay off debts, whatever it may be. It's a great program, and every business needs to take advantage of it.
Oh, no doubt. Absolutely.
Tremendous stories too on, this is a reward for doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So if you kept people employed,
Sure.
Right.
there's lots of great stories in our town about using this for future expansion, and it really is fueling a lot of growth. So
And being a member of the chamber, you raise
Yes.
the awareness, and Amici's Catering, who is hosting our show today. So imagine that. It's like one big happy family. Upper Tampa Bay Chamber has always been that way. And if it wasn't for your connection, how would you know about it? How
Right.
would we as a business owner know about this?
Well, first of all, let me give a lot of credit to the chamber. As a new member, I did not know until after I joined all the value that the chamber provides. And one of the first things that we did was send out several dates of which we could have meetings online, whether it's a Zoom meeting or specific one-on-one calls with us to help those businesses that have those ideas, we're exploring the employee retention credit. So automatically it went out to all of their members about this program. And not only has it been beneficial to the chamber, but it's also been beneficial to their members, and it's helped me see the value of this chamber way more than I've experienced in other chambers that I've been a part of in the past. So I would just want to say, like, if you're new to the chamber, you made a great decision in joining them. And if you're exploring joining a chamber, this is the one you want to join. I can say that absolutely. Now, to your other point in terms of if you have some questions about, there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of unknowns about the Employee Retention Credit Program. Certainly reach out to the chamber. They can put you in direct contact with us. We've got a great relationship with them. Certainly you're welcome to contact us directly. Our website and our information is available on the show, but it goes back to this. If you paid wages, you need to talk to someone, and talk to us about that. It's that simple of a program. We will walk you through from start to finish to know exactly what you qualify for and make sure everything is a smooth process. Now, Vince mentioned this, right? So one of the things about this is that we're dealing with the IRS. A lot of people are familiar with the PPP loan, right? They went to their bank or they went to another bank. And it made the process a lot easier because you had all of these lenders, private lenders as well, sending out this money to help businesses. And I think the PPP loan, both versions, were a great thing for small businesses. The employee retention credit, you're dealing with the IRS. You're dealing with payroll returns. We've been licensed tax professionals for decades. We have tax attorneys, we have CPAs, we have enrolled agents on staff that know exactly how to walk you through that process, and so that you're interacting with the IRS in a safe, comfortable way that it doesn't stress you out or have you any concern about doing this.
You made a major word there, stress. The fear of the unknown and what to expect. You want to talk to some professionals. I love it when somebody says, we're going to take you by the hand and lead you every step of the way. Isn't that music to your ears? And imagine if you're able to take advantage of this and put some money back in the till to help you, springboard you. There's probably some businesses out there that are like still trying to hang on. Right?
Absolutely.
This is like a gift.
It is.
And to close the entire loop on this, Jonathan is donating back a portion of his fees back into the community here. So when I mentioned amplifying and pushing things forward, the virtuous cycle is complete here.
That's
on this.
wonderful. I love it. It doesn't get any better than this, right? You guys are great. I'm so glad that you
We're
came on
trying.
My Chamber TV to really give our business owners there. There's many of you out there that have thrived and survived, but
Yeah.
this is just going to make it a little bit sweeter. I want to thank you very much, guys. We're going to stay in touch so we can raise the awareness even more. Stick around because we are going to continue with My Chamber TV in just a moment. Thanks for being there. Hi, everyone. Welcome back into My Chamber TV. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly. Thank you. We are actually supporting the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce, and we managed to talk Doug Bevis to come in. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
That was unexpected.
No.
You're getting ready to go on a cruise,
Yeah,
right?
I'm getting ready to go on a cruise.
Well, I feel honored that you
yeah.
hung around to do this segment.
Yep, packing. So
Packing.
I always way overpack. So, because you never know what you're going to need, you know. You take things that you don't need. You take way too much underwear, you know. But yeah.
It's crazy.
But I have a small suitcase that I'm taking. I was reading some blogs, and I'm taking a bunch of food to the crew. Not food, well, some food, but toiletries. And they said they don't always get to get off the ship to get some of the things. So I'm
Oh.
taking shampoo, toothpaste,
Nice.
toothbrushes, Pringles,
Nice.
Pop-Tarts, things that they
Nice.
might. Yeah. So I read a blog that some of the ships they don't get to get off, and so and they don't want to use their money to buy
Right.
some of that. They want to send
Right.
it back home. So yeah.
Oh, that's a nice thing to do.
Yeah,
Then you
so-
won't feel guilty going on the cruise.
Yeah.
Because you just came back
I
from
just
one.
came back from one,
Hey,
yeah.
good for you.
Yeah,
Good for you
yeah.
because you work hard in the community. You bring us amazing guests for Upper Tampa Bay. I mean,
Today was incredible.
today, honestly, it brought me to
We're
tears.
making you money. We're saving lives.
Yeah, we are. We are.
That's Jeannette was
Jeannette was
powerful.
She was so strong, and her passion for this human trafficking. Imagine in just 1 month's time or 1 year's time, she was able to, with only a group of 4 people.
Yeah.
They've been to the border, all of that, and they were able to rescue 95 individuals. That was very
3 years old.
as young as 3.
It's yeah. I said this before when we were off the air, but you know, sometimes I think we turn a blind eye to some of this stuff just
I think
because
so.
we don't want to believe that it happens. But
It is unbelievable when
that
it happens.
happens, yeah.
Exactly.
So,
And we're removed. We're far removed from it unless it's hit home with a family member or yourself or something like
Yeah.
that. And then when it raises the awareness and its ugly head, you have no choice but to face it.
Yeah, and over 90 that they helped, but how many are still out there? That's
know.
the scary part. And you know, we live in a great country, but how much of this stuff is happening even tenfold in other countries? You
That's
know?
right.
So the
That's right.
Philippines, I know it's huge over there. So yeah, so some good guests today. I knew she was going to be a strong one. So
Yeah,
that
she
was great.
she was. And then our guys that came on,
Jonathan and
and
Vince.
Jonathan.
So that really turned out to be a great story, and I'm not really at liberty to say the amount of money that some of these individuals are getting back, but
It's a lot.
Jason Nastasi, who's been on here with Express Oil
I know
Lube,
Jason.
they're getting back enough money that they are looking at now opening a 3rd store.
Isn't
So,
that fantastic?
yeah, and so they've done some great stuff. It's the government, so it takes a little while, you know, to get the money back. But no, that's been a great relationship. And then, as Vince said, Jonathan's going to give it back to the community, and then Vince has some programs that he's going to try and fund in the city of Oldsmar. So.
That's exciting. And if you're catching in the last of the show here today, it's called the Employer
Employee retention credit.
Retention credit. Isn't that music to your ears if you are a business owner and have paid salaries to your employees and taken good... It's a result of doing the right thing.
Right, sure. And Michael at Amici's here was one that, as a lot of people did, they got their PPP money and 100% of it went back to the employees to pay salaries. And if you talk to Jonathan, and I'm nowhere near an expert on this, but you only really needed to provide 60% of that back to wages. I think that was the number. So there's 40% that you can get back right there.
Right.
And Jason Nastasi was opening a new store right at the beginning of the pandemic, so he qualified for another level. So you know, these are the things that the chamber does. So, but you got to be involved. We've said this a million times.
Yep.
The chamber is only as good as you put the effort into.
Of course. And it's just such a great chamber. How many members are there now?
So our program now is called Boots on the Ground, and I heard you talking about it earlier off camera about you know, trying to get away from Zooms and actually get out and meet people and have real meetings. And so in 2022, we started Boots on the Ground, which is basically, we had an event here at Amici's. This place was packed of people meeting and networking, because there's nothing, you know, Zooms are great. I don't think they'll ever go away. But the fact of the old-fashioned way of pressing the flesh, shaking hands, talking to people, and that's what we're trying to do. To answer your question, we want to hit 500 members by June. So.
Ooh, nice.
And we add some, we lose some, you know.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
It varies, but we have a lot of very active. I would say probably 25 to 30% of our chamber members are all very engaged with
Sure.
us. Some of them are there for different. We have Adobe from California that's a chamber member. So, but we're a great chamber. We probably do 15 to 18 events a month, which are networking, morning, afternoon, evening. We just did one at Jack Willie's last night, and you know, you do your elevator speech and you share, and everybody's always exchanging information. And then we have our big events that we have the biggest Oktoberfest in the Tampa Bay area.
Oh, I love that.
We had to move it to Tampa Bay Downs. It got so big. And then we took over from the city of Oldsmar. We took over Celebrate Oldsmar this past November, turned it from a one-day event into a three-day event with probably one of the best fireworks displays in the Tampa Bay area. And then right around the corner, March 25th, 26th, and 27th, we have Oldsmar Days. Oldsmar Days
too.
and Nights, and it's down at R.E. Olds Park, 3 days of music and food and crafts, and we have a carnival. Saturday we have a parade it's great. It's a community parade. We have East Lake High School band that's going to be in there, and so it's a great community event for sure.
I've been to Oldsmar Days. It is fun.
Yeah.
You just don't know where to go next.
Yeah.
It's that busy. It really is a
Yeah,
whole lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. We've got Stormbringer's going to play. The Bearded Brothers are going to be playing. Yeah, there's the lineup right there. Car shows on Saturday. The Oldsmobile car show Saturday, and then an open class car show on Sunday. Soul Circus Cowboys, a friend of mine, they're going to be there as well. The Shake Society, they play a lot around the area. So it's a full day of fun and activities and tchotchke, you know, all kinds of stuff, vendors. And I heard a new term. I used to just call it a cutting board, but it's now called a
Charcuterie board. Oh. I know.
We used to call this a cutting board.
I know.
And
I
now
know.
it's a
Well, it's a little bit fancier, a little bit more fun, I guess.
And it costs more.
Yeah. I actually have a couple. I haven't used them yet.
Well, they're so pretty. You don't want to
They
use them.
are.
Yeah,
They really are. You can make little flowers with your meats and that, and do all kinds of fun things.
Yeah, we had her on one of the shows that we did at the dance studio.
Yeah.
She does charcuterie. So
I had to practice singing.
you hurt yourself. So,
I know.
but yeah, it's a great community. And for those that don't know, I'm sure you know this. Oldsmar is named after
I forgot. Who?
Ransom Eli Olds, the founder of the Oldsmobile.
That's right.
Yeah, we wanted to have a museum. One of our council members, she passed away, but Janice Miller was a big advocate for an Oldsmobile museum. And I said, I'd love the idea, Janice, but if you go to any kid today, they have no idea what an Oldsmobile is. Tesla, maybe, or, you know.
Right.
But,
right.
yeah, actually, I think the grandkids or great-grandkids still come to the parade. And,
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a
That's
neat.
neat.
Yeah. So, yeah, the picture you just showed of the old bank building, that was back in the day. Yeah, that's actually in the historic it's got a historic mark to it because not the building itself, but the white porcelain tile on there
Cool.
is neat. Yeah.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
That's what I love about Oldsmar. It's so quaint and it's got character, charm.
But yet
and all of that.
65,000 cars a day drive through it on
Isn't
Tampa
that-
Road.
isn't that-
More than on the Courtney Campbell Causeway.
Do you know that road I drive more than I go anywhere from the shows to going to the flea market. We did a show at the flea market.
Yes, that's absolutely right.
That was
So,
really fun.
yeah.
They've changed a lot too.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Doug, you really bring in some great business owners, and today it just broke all the records. It really did.
Yeah, I think we're going to be able to do some great things for.
I know we are.
With Emerge 180 for the business community, but
Yes.
with Jeannette and the human trafficking, she was a victim of it herself. And
Exactly.
And you said it while we were off air. It just came out of her just so naturally. She
Yeah.
wasn't afraid of it. And I love the name of her book, something behind the smile.
Behind the Smile.
Behind the Smile.
She's writing a book, Behind the Smile.
And how many people could write a book similar to that? You know, we all put on this face of happy, joy, la la la.
Happy, yep.
But
Yeah.
you know, it's scary. But I look forward to being able to do some great things with her.
I think so too. We have a lot to be thankful for. Excuse me.
Yep.
But thank you so much. I'm going to let you finish because I'm going to choke you.
No, but if you need more information about either being a vendor or if you want to be a volunteer at Oldsmar Days, you can check us out at utbchamber.com. If you'd like to be on this show, same way, reach out to me, dbevis at utbchamber.com. And we'll get you on an upcoming episode of My Chamber TV. Would that'd be good? Sit right here with you.
Yeah.
We're going to get you on the show one day.
For what?
Whatever.
Oh, you want to interview me?
Yeah, we'll
Put
turn
me on the spot,
Yeah,
right?
we'll turn it on you.
Okay, well, we'll do that. We'll do a segment just you and me.
Yeah, and we'll find out a little bit more about you.
Oh, good luck. See you again soon.